Ladies and gentlemen.
The Ballet Giselle is one of the oldest ballets that is still a part of today's classical ballet repertoire, which you might recall if you watched our Giselle Insights video. If you haven't, it will be linked up in the card, one of these corners, and also in the description box due south of
So in that video, we talk a lot about the creation of Giselle and kind of how everything came to be, from the story to the first premiere. And from that premiere to today, the ballet has changed a lot. But not just Giselle specifically, but ballet
in
as
general.
a whole.
There are some wonderful ballet artifacts that are kind of circulating the internet. Ballets from the 1930s, 40s, 50s, that kind of age. And it's really fascinating to look at how the technique has changed so much from then and then coming to where we are now. So we're going to do a little case study with you today. We're going to take a look at Giselle's Act 1 variation from the vintage film, and then we're going to compare it with a more recent performance featuring current day dancers.
Before we get started, make sure you give the like button a little tap to spread the ballet nerd love, and let's go. Also, side note, apologies for my voice. I was a little bit under the weather. I'm recovering, so if I sound funny, that's why.
Tap the like button for her so we can help Eden to get better faster so that we can have her voice back.
Thanks guys, appreciate it. So this video that we're about to watch it's really quite a gem. This is English National Ballet, one of the oldest surviving recordings of their Giselle. This was filmed in 1951.
Wow!
Which is quite a long time ago. I think it's the oldest one that we could find that has the whole variation.
Yeah, it took a lot of sleuthing. There were some little clips of 1932 and something like that, but they didn't have the full version, unfortunately. So yeah, we're gonna have a look at this.
Giselle is danced by Alicia Markova. And yeah, let's just get into it. I'm really excited.
So let's have a look. No, honey. Please. Please. Yes, you may. Okay. Go on, dear.
Wow, musicality is so different, huh?
Yeah, it's way faster than modern productions. Usually the tempo is da-dum, da-dum, da-da-da, da-da. But this is like doubles time. And usually in the modern day productions, there's a lot more lingering on point. It'll roll down into panche usually.
Yeah.
Either that or she hold a lot longer. And then the contretemps comes at the beginning of like the
second phrase. Yeah.
The second bar.
Da, da, da. Then you do the contra da. Da, da, da. Da, da.
And then you don't start the PKs until the next phrase.
Yeah. Releve straight into that renverse,
Yeah.
which is not commonly done. Usually we do a tombe. She didn't even do a contretemps. She did a little rond de jambe thing.
Yeah, she did like a double rond de jambe into the PK.
Also, the way she uses her hands and arms are very different than what you'd see like today. Something that you'll see a lot in the older, more vintage ballet, the wrist was more upwards, and then the fingers rounded off this way.
Yeah, like they flex the hand more, whereas nowadays, the fingers are very much elongated up and out, and then the wrist might even go down slightly.
Yeah.
So it's like a completely different line.
Yeah.
But I think it's really cute back then when they had this very soft, I think it's a very feminine look.
Yeah. Obviously, we still use this line in modern ballet, just not quite so much as they did, you know. They would use that hand, like this was the hand, you know, for ballet. The fingers are a lot more supple today, I think.
Yeah, I think that's the difference. A lot more movement. So unbalanced. It looks so easy. Wow. It's just a nice sailing around. It didn't look rushed. It didn't look stressed out at all. It looked clean.
Yeah.
It looked very clean. And I know some people might say, oh, back then their technique was like kind of sloppy or whatever. But just like keep in mind that these ballerinas kept setting the new record, and then they kept topping it, and now we have the prima ballerinas like Natalia Osipova, Marinella Nunez, and like those kind of stars that we have today.
Because of dancers like this that were so good for their time, and they just kept, you know, pushing the boundary further and further and further and further.
Yeah, that's the thing with ballet. You can never master everything.
Yeah.
Like, this was mastery back then, but like now, like everything about ballet has advanced tremendously since this time.
Like, dancers are doing more turns, they're jumping higher, they have more flexible feet, more flexible legs, more turnout, higher extensions, everything.
I think attention to detail has also been increased. Like, closing fifth is really emphasized now.
But consequently, with that attention to detail, a lot of ballets have slowed down.
A lot.
There was a lot more emphasis on the speed and the tempo of the piece back then.
With the speed carries like a very big sense of virtuosity. I could watch that all day.
I would say though that the vintage dancers have the sharpest spots I've ever seen. And it shows in their turns, you know, because they can turn so fast and with such, I don't know, tightness, I guess.
Yeah, it's tight.
And she lands in this little fourth position, which is rarely done.
Nowadays we end it in like, you know, to the knee or something, or a little curtsy.
Yeah.
But fourth, very old-fashioned. I love it.
Their arms were held a lot higher.
Yes.
Back then.
I think so.
Because the whole time she's walking around, her arms are up here. Whereas I think
nowadays it's like more down here.
Nowadays the arms are usually almost always below the shoulders. You want to have that really long neck. You want to look tall, and I think if you raise your arms too much, it has a tendency to lift the shoulders a little bit. So the emphasis today is more keeping the shoulders down, keeping that poise happening. But I think with her, it was very expressive. She's having so much fun, and her arms mirror that.
This is a hop sequence that I have observed in this variation and also in the older versions prior to this one. And it's different from the version that we do nowadays. Well, usually nowadays we'll do just a straight one with the rond de jambe. We'll just do that all the way across. If you do the one that attitude devant, it will be 6 going here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then you go
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6,
and then 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
So you'll usually do them in 6s. Sometimes you'll add the ones turning and stuff like that. But she does 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So that's very different. Seeing the pattern, this one and a couple of other versions from around this time. So it seems to be like the standard of that age, which actually has changed a lot since then. But yeah, that's very interesting to know.
I like it because of the amount of variety it gives. Like, you're changing a lot more frequently.
And I like how, because every time she changes the legs, the arms also change. So it keeps it very fluid on top. If you watch it, she does it very, very nice.
That's true, yeah.
Yeah, the arms are constantly changing.
Oh yeah, you're right.
It almost looks like she's waltzing with somebody. Yeah, it's very, very pretty.
Very strong hops.
Uh-huh.
She makes it look effortless. Now this is quite different. Because she does a diagonal.
Instead of the piqué turn manège.
Yeah, usually she'll run to the front left corner.
Yeah.
The
downstage left corner.
The downstage left corner. She'll do a preparation, and she'll do a manège, which is a circle around the stage of piqué turns, and ending in the downstage right corner.
Yes.
But this one, she does a diagonal going across the stage, and she does not do straight piqué turn. She does an undé d'un fouetté, well, tombé undé d'un fouetté.
Is it a fouetté or a pirouette?
And then she does like a little
piqué there.
And then she does 2 piqué en dehors. And I really like it because rhythmically it's very interesting and it plays up the rhythm of the music.
Yeah, it definitely emphasizes the rhythm rather than just the beat like nowadays does.
It has a different accent, I guess, and adds a little more flair.
Stunning.
Amazing.
Absolutely stunning. Oh, there's Hilarion. Okay. So that was Alicia Markova as Giselle from 1951. I really loved that performance. I think she did a really brilliant job. It was definitely, you know, the standard for like that day and age. And
Bravo, Alicia Markova.
yay. Very, very nicely done. Next up, Yasmin Nagdi from the Royal Ballet. She's going to be representing Giselle in today's day and age. And we're going to look at her interpretation, compare it with the old version, and see all the very interesting differences between the two of them. But both are very beautiful in their own unique way. So let's take a look. Already, the acting is so different.
Yeah.
Not just the acting, but the dancing in general. I feel like nowadays, I think it's a little bit more dramatized.
A little more theatrical.
A little bit more theatrical, that's the word. Theatrical is a good word.
All the gestures are a lot more fluid instead of being more authentic. If I were to go like this to you, in modern ballet, it would be a much more fluid,
Huge.
long, extended gesture. And I think that's what she demonstrates really well, even in these opening gestures to her left and right. As you can see, it's already considerably slower.
Yes,
And
that
I
too.
think it paints a picture, again, interpretation-wise, it's not bad, because it paints that picture of she's a bit hesitant, just a little, because everyone's watching her. She's kind of making this up on the spot as she goes. So it's like, maybe I'll do a penché. Okay, let's do a contretemps. It has that sort of...
The hesitation, the lingering in between the steps. And nowadays, it's also kind of a highlight. The longer you can hold that balance, it's like, wow!
Yes,
the
for sure.
amount of control is really stunning.
You can see that emphasis. 1 and 2, contretemps, and 4.
Then
and
you
then
start
you
the
start the
piqués.
piqué. 5 and 6.
Whereas the old version, they did 1 and 2 and piqué on 3.
Yeah.
This had a lot more distinct phrasing, I feel
Yes.
like, at least in this first section.
She also demonstrates that hand.
Uh-huh.
When she goes up, it leads with that wrist and then the fingers follow. Again, with that fluid nature, everything has a follow through.
Yeah, the follow-through is huge
Yeah.
for modern ballet. Yeah, everything has not really a start or finish. You hit the position, obviously, but you keep moving right through it, at least in this variation.
And she's so clean. You can see here she goes right to 5th and rolls down evenly on both feet.
I think also with the advanced technology of point shoes nowadays, it does promote the ability to roll through your feet a lot better than back then. Point shoes have a big part of the ballerina's technique in general, but yeah, point shoes have come a long way as well. Still right up on her axis. Not much has changed since.
You'll see that she does 6. Can I just say that the ronde-jambs are much smaller movements?
Yeah.
I feel like for the other version, like, there was much more of a leg movement.
For sure.
It was much more exaggerated. And for her leg was a bit lower, and she does the rondes much smaller.
Yeah.
It's much more understated. Here she'll do the manège. And you'll see this a lot in this variation. If you
Pushing
can
the
push
speed.
the speed of the music and go ahead of the music, they'll go ahead and do it. Generally, as dancers, we want to try and dance on the music, but when
Yeah.
it comes to tricks like that, some dancers will want to just
Push the speed.
push the speed.
Virtuosity.
Yeah, as a sense of virtuosity that you can outrun the music a little bit. I guess it depends dancer to dancer. Some dancers like to stay on the beat of the music, and then some will like to push it a little bit. And another thing that's important to notice is if you watch at the end here, pause.
Yeah, the music has a nice little pause there, so she can finish the full step-up turn.
Yeah.
Before she goes to the knee. Again, like we were saying, how the music changes and the tempo differences from, back then versus now. Nowadays, we want to emphasize the amount of time we can stay up before coming back down.
Yeah.
That's a huge difference. And it kind of ran throughout the whole ballet, I think.
Yeah. It was definitely showing how controlled you can be at slow speeds and how much attention you can take to the details.
Right.
And consequently, we've had to, give a little more space for the dancers to do everything that they need to do. Whereas back then, it was more like, can we keep the pace going, keep the tempo going, and keep it all continuous? And if you're doing those turns at the end, can you stop on a dime? I think that was more the emphasis.
That was the emphasis, and that was definitely the impressiveness of that time. Being able to do everything fast and all of a sudden, freeze. Yeah. That's it. And everyone goes wild.
Exactly. Round of applause for the beautiful dancers that we were able to watch today. Yasmin Nagdi and Alicia Markova. Both are absolutely beautiful dancers. Let us know in the comments any other differences that you noticed that we might not have mentioned. And again, there's no version that I would say is better or worse than the other. Right. This is just where we've come from and where we are today. And both are beautiful. Both accomplish the goal of making beautiful visual art for our viewing enjoyment and to move us through a story and to help us enjoy the work that our amazing athlete artists have put in.
Without dancers from Alicia Markova's day, we would not have dancers where we are right now.
Yes.
And without the dancers of today, we'll never have the dancers of tomorrow. So it's really important to, value our past, value our heritage, value where we come from, and then appreciate where we are today, and then be able to push others forward into the future.
Definitely. So, if you have any other old vintage ballet videos on the internet that you want us to get our hands on, please send them our way. Send us links in the comment. We would be so happy to watch through them, nerd out with you guys. Maybe you can see it in an upcoming video. If you like this video, like the video. And if you really like this video, then consider subscribing to our channel because we post a lot more videos like this.
And if you really like the video, you can share it with a friend or a fellow ballet nerd or someone who should be a fellow ballet nerd.
Anyway, I think that is all from us for now. This is Ballet Rain signing off. Until the next video.
Bye!